Hi everyone, it's your girl Denise with In the Vine, and I am here today to answer your guys' questions. I am so excited. Definitely got some good ones, and so I actually have them all here, and we're just gonna get right to it. And I'm sorry guys, I'm in my car because I just got out of the dentist. I don't have my kids, so I'm like, this is the perfect time to just record, right? So the first question is, why do you like cats so much? I mean, is it obvious? But a few reasons. One, honestly, your girl just looks good in hats. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, sometimes it's just so much easier to put on a hat when I don't have time to do my hair. I am a mom to 3 girls, so I'd rather do their hair than do mine. So it's just much easier. But two, they're honestly such a statement piece. I feel like I can express myself through hats. Like, you'll know what mood I'm in by just looking at my hat. So that's why I love them. What advice would you give the 20-year-old Denise? And the advice I would give 20-year-old Denise is, you are worth so much more. You are the daughter of the Most High King, and you need to believe it and act accordingly to it. Definitely would give myself that advice. Anything you learned in a marriage that would help single people? Yes, so much. But one thing I would say is, as a single person, learn how to be selfless. Learn how to be sacrificial. Because I think that, when you're single, it's so easy to just think about yourself. And when you go into a marriage, it's not the way it works. So I would definitely say practice selflessness, practice serving, because that'll really take you far in marriage. All right, so I'm about to answer 2 questions on this one just because they kind of go hand in hand. And the first is it true you are a travel agent? Yes, I am. And the next one is, you love to travel? Yes, I do. Being a travel agent now, what would be your dream trip to take and why? It would definitely be Egypt. I just biblically, historically, there is so much that fascinates me about Egypt. And so I would just love to go there and be immersed and really just see the Bible come to life. So yeah, it would be Egypt. What advice do you recommend for moms looking to date? Oof, this one would be, know your identity, know your worth, know just your identity. I think many times we women or moms, just from the mentorships that I've gone through with women, they kind of go looking, thinking that a man's going to fill a certain void. And so if you're looking for a man for those types of reasons, then you're obviously looking for, it's with the wrong motive. So I would definitely say, know your identity, know whose you are. And from that place, definitely search out for, a husband, and, because they're essentially going to come in and also play a role in your children's lives. So I think that is important. So what does Denise call a relaxed day? It was funny. I actually had to ask my husband, like, what do I consider a relaxed day? And he looks at me and he's like, anything that has to do with us not included, like him and the kids. And so I laughed. But I would say that a relaxed day for me would be being at home in my PJs, drinking coffee, reading a book. I don't get to do that very often. I'm always on the go, or I'm always doing something. I don't really get time to sit down, watch TV, or do any of that. So for me, a relaxed day would definitely just be sit, coffee, read a book, my Bible, anything of that nature, and just being in my PJs. And what is a fun-filled day for Denise? Honestly, anything that includes going outdoors and adventure, with my kids, with my husband, with friends, just being out would definitely be a fun-filled day, being purposeful and intentional with just the company that I have. Is it true you like to watch people eat on social media? Yes, I have this thing where I love them. I think they're called like mukbang videos. And so I shared that with a friend one day. She's like, I would never expect that from you. She's like, I feel like I don't even know you. Like, who are you? But yes, I do love watching that. So that actually answers the other question, which is, what's something we wouldn't expect about you? You probably would not expect for me to like watching mukbang videos at night, but for the record, the reason I like doing that is because at night when I'm laying with my husband, he's like, I can feel you think, stop, because my mind is always on the go. And so I had to figure out how I could watch something or do something where I'm not thinking, but simply just like being. And I found that that's a great outlet. So that's the reason why. Best piece of advice you give your single friends? That would be learn how or tap into God as your husband. I have heard the most amazing testimonies that have impacted my life personally, even as a married woman, from single women who have learned how to tap into God as their husband. And I really believe that that is one of the most profound and powerful things that you could do as a single woman. And so I would really, that would be my biggest piece of advice, because it just fills in so many other gaps. So if you're a single woman, I would really recommend that you learn how to tap into God as your husband. Pull from other women who have been able to do that, because it's honestly incredible. How do you find balance when you're feeling overwhelmed? Oof, that is a good one. I assess. I am a very critical thinker, very logical, but I can also be very free-spirited, which is kind of funny. But when I'm how do I find balance when I'm feeling overwhelmed is I go back to my priorities as in my household, right? What are my priorities? If I'm feeling overwhelmed, that means that I have a lot on my plate. So I go back to order: God, husband, children, everything else, and I prioritize in that manner, and that truly does help me refocus. I love to sit back and assess, and like I said, refocus, regroup, and honestly, even working out has been such a great outlet for me lately, or in the last 2 years. So even when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I love to assess while I'm working out, okay, where is my focus? So definitely recommend prioritize, go back to your priorities. As long as you keep things in God's order, everything else will fall into place. Next question: what are your goals to accomplish this year? So there's so many, personally, corporately, but if I could sum it all up, I think my biggest goal would be to tap into God as a healer for this season of my life, not just for me, but for my friends, for those people around me. And I'm going to go a little bit longer on this one, and only because I was crying out one day to the Lord, and I said, God, how can I help bring healing to other people? Like, is there even scripture, to back that up? And as I was driving, he reminded me of the scripture of, I think it was in Mark or Matthew, where it's the centurion soldier who had a soldier himself who was sick, and he even sent somebody out to Jesus to heal his soldier. And, and if you read that scripture out, God or Jesus says to them, I haven't seen man with that great faith, and you understand authority, and your soldier's basically healed. And I'm probably like butchering the scripture, but in essence, it was this man who understood authority that was able to bring forth healing, obviously through Jesus, for his friend. And so I want to be that kind of friend. And so I know that in order to be that kind of friend, I understand authority, but I also want to tap into a deeper realm of Jesus as a healer. So that's my biggest goal this year, because I really believe that can trickle onto every other aspect of my goals. Did you have an imaginary friend? I'm sure I did. I think I was like 7 or 8, and I'm sure I did. I loved, even since I was little, I loved to play, make believe, and I would play that I would sell flowers, because my dad had a garden. And so I would go around selling flowers to my imaginary friends. And I would also love to play school, and I would be a teacher. So of course I would teach to my imaginary friends. And just recently, the Lord actually brought that image back to my remembrance of when I would teach in my room to my imaginary friends, because I've always loved teaching. And so, yes, I did have an imaginary friend. And the next question is, what was the best day so far this year? Honestly, it was this, I believe it was the second day that we had gone to Laughlin, and we were sitting down, we were just among family. And, my brother looked at me and he's like, I really feel like I'm cheating life. Like, what more can we ask for? Vacation, family, like love. And so that day was like, honestly, has been by far the best day this year. So very happy for that. Have you ever cried during a movie? Yes, I'm a crier. I cry for everything. So yes, I can cry on commercials. But yes, I definitely have cried during a movie. Yeah. All right, guys, this is the last question. I truly appreciate you guys sticking it all out, and just being here till the end with hearing me answer all these questions. And so the last one is, balancing everything in your life is hard, but you manage. What is your advice to others to help make things easier? I don't know if it makes things easier, but let me give you guys my philosophy. This is how I live. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So I'm consistent in everything that I do. I am consistent. So I would say, in order to make things easier with balance, is figure out your priorities, figure out your non-negotiables, stick to them. Be consistent. That takes a level of discipline. And so figure out how you can exercise or gain that discipline if you didn't grow up with it. And so there's obviously times where I might not do one of my non-negotiables or whatnot, but that's the exception. Like, that's exception to the rule. That's rare. Like, my husband knows that if he comes in one day and, for example, in my household, it's a mess, right? Because my house is rarely a mess. But if it is, he's gonna walk in and realize, okay, something's wrong with my wife. Like, either she's sick or something happened throughout the day, because this is not like her, right? And this is not for everybody. Everybody has their different priorities and non-negotiables. But my point here is you have to be consistent with your priorities and non-negotiables, because too many times we're not. And so we just complicate our own lives. And so that would be my biggest advice, and how I balance it is just, I'm consistent with what's important to me.